Mark Cuban, and the reason for my name today, Mark Cuban is such a bruh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's such a tool.
Douchey. He's very douchey. He's very much of a tool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God. Right. So he and Elon have been spatting because now Mark Cuban is a huge Kamala supporter. And he's rabidly supporting her.
He's a white dude for Kamala. He's a white dude.
Yeah. And we're starting, we'll show you in a minute why it's sounding like he is throwing his full throttled support behind her. But he's such a Chad. Like the way that he talks to, oh God, what's the name of that? Theo Vaughn. He was on Theo Vaughn's show talking about the fact that he and Elon spar on Twitter, and just the way he describes the sparring with him, he's so juvenile. Just look at this.
On a little bit ago, I know you guys have like I don't know if it's a feud. What is it? You think it almost seems romantic a little bit?
Yeah, I just like to fuck with him. Yeah, right. I mean, because it's like.
He loves being on Twitter too.
Oh, it's his thling, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I guess if I paid 40-something billion.
Yeah, you pay 44 billion. You better hang out. It's like why do I go to the Mavs games, right? You know. But yeah, I don't dislike Elon, but he says some stupid shit, and it's just like I have no problem calling him out.
Yeah,
and he's thin-skinned, right? And so, like, I'll tell you my one little Elon story, right? So I didn't get to know him, but I was helped him with something or tried to help him. And so I had his number and I texted him a couple of times, like he had a kid, and I'm like, congrats on your 97th kid. And he texted me back, Mars needs kids, right? Mars needs people. And I'm like, that's funny as shit, right? And so one day I had a Tesla and I said something about it, and he just sends me a text with the article saying, fuck you. That's it. Just fuck you. And I was like, okay. I mean, it was the truth, right? Fuck you. I'm like, okay, so that's
a text with the article that what?
That I said something that wasn't totally positive about Tesla.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, right. So that's what the article was about.
Right. So he was just like, fuck you. I'm like, okay. And then it was nothing, no big deal. I don't care one way or the other. And then he buys Twitter, right? And then he starts getting real political, right?
Yeah.
And so not a lot of people are going to stand up to him. And I'm like, fuck it, I don't care, right? So he's called me racist. He's called me, poop emoji multiple times. He calls me all these names. And so like that, to me, that just gives me license to fuck with him even more. Right. I don't care if he calls me names. I don't give a shit what he thinks. Right. But it's still fun. Right. Just to hit him with the LOLs or whatever. But
hit him with the LOLs.
He totally cares what Elon thinks about him. He absolutely cares. Oh, yeah, he lays awake at night and he cares. He's so broken. Like so many liberals, he's just broken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just, and he doesn't understand reality because he wants Kamala to win. Like he doesn't live in the real world like the rest of us. At least Elon can understand how it is for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I give him credit for that because he doesn't have to, And I guess Mark Cuban is one of the billionaires that liberals are okay with since they hate billionaires or they claim they hate billionaires. But he's one of the ones that's okay. But then they'll demonize Elon because they're a bunch of freaking hypocrites. I find that so amusing.
You guys, this is a crazy, crazy, crazy world. When you think about our economy, when you think about all the global conflicts, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. And thankfully, if you are nearing or you're thinking about retirement, or maybe you're in retirement already and you worry about how all of these things are going to impact your finances, this is the best time for you to learn about Bulwark's risk management strategy. You can talk to our friend Zach Abraham at Bulwark. He can give you a free risk review, work through what you've got going on in your portfolio right now, tell you if there's things that he would change or do differently. There's no obligation. You can sign up to do that and also get a copy of his free Common Sense Investing Guide by just calling 866-779-RISK or visit him at knowyourriskradio.com.
Advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24308.
Government.
So yeah, check it out. Knowyourriskradio.com. Can you imagine, like, sometimes, because Elon, of course, is on the spectrum, which is a gift and a curse in his case. But when I think about the part of him that's gifted, where he just has an ability to see and understand and know things that are way above like a regular human level,
right?
It has to be the weight of the world on his shoulders to know and understand the dangers to humanity in a way that regular people just don't. And then to also know that he has the talent and smarts to be able to solve some of it, which he has in some ways,
right?
With his inventions and creations.
It's a responsibility. It's such a responsibility.
How does he sleep ever? Like, how does he?
He probably doesn't sleep a lot.
I can't imagine.
It's also got to be so exhausting too, to know, like, to be in the presence of people like a Mark Cuban, who is, he's a billionaire. He's an idiot. He's a billionaire, but it's like, you look at him and you're like, it's kind of like Kylie Jenner being a billionaire,
Right. Exactly.
You're like, you really lucked out, dude.
Mark, whether you would entertain.
Like, you really lucked out, and good for you for becoming a billionaire. But Elon is actually brilliant. He's just so brilliant. And I'm sure that sometimes when he's around people like that, he's just like, I don't want to waste my time with people like you or people like Don Lemon, who are just, I'm sure it's hard for him to talk to people like that sometimes, because he's just so much smarter than everybody else. And it's got to be exhausting for him sometimes. It's like, I just don't want to explain this to you because you're so dumb.
And it must be very isolating to have that kind of
intelligence.
brain.
Right.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Okay. Now this clip, very, very short, will give you a little bit of insight as to why Mark Cuban is so in the tank for Kamala right now. I think she's made a deal with him.
But I ask you, Mark, whether you would entertain being a Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary in a Harris
Head of the
administration.
SEC. Head of the SEC. That's the job I would take.
God help us all.
That's a good idea at all.
That would be a terrible idea. And he's totally jockeying for a position.
Do you feel like he's more rabid than he used to be? Like, he's almost on something. He seems so
jacked up,
wired,
like jacked up, and then and there's stuff like, and he's put all the filler crap in his face.
Something is going on with that dude.
What's in your filler that's making you so jacked up? Calm down.
I know, right?
Yeah, and put on a shirt that fits.
He was on Squawk Box, and what is his name? Joe Kernan. I can't remember his name, but he's always so good at just like saying whatever he's going to say.
I love that guy.
So he has a bit of a back and forth, doesn't let Mark Cuban get a whole lot of words in edgewise, and rightly so.
Unable to answer the question about, are you better off now than 4 years ago? I think that was illustrative.
Well, 4 years ago, literally, we're in a pandemic. It was an easy answer.
We can look at exactly what happened. He's already been president. And we can look at what happened when she was vice president. And it's not good, the comparison.
Being the president, Joe, as you know, is different than being vice president. It's not close, right?
So she can take credit for the good things that happened with Biden, but she didn't have anything to do with the bad things.
I love him. I really do.
So great. So great.